opening round for the men. Heat number 2, we got the GOAT in the water. Kelly Slater versus 2 exciting rookies, Samuel Pupo as well as Imaikalani deVault. And the day has presented itself. Swell continues to rise. I'm Kaipo Guerrero, joined by Paul Evans, and we just picked up another player on the set. Pupo MEO is here to talk us through this heat number 2. Pete.
Couldn't miss Kelly's heat, especially since they're up against some of the 2 youngster, exciting rookies. I think this is one of those heats where you can see Kelly get inspired by these youngsters in his heat. Does not want to go to the elimination round and isn't challenging Super Tubos.
So this happened during the break, Paul.
Yeah, nice and sharp stab in there from Imai, and managing just to get unstuck and get out of that turn and get a completion. Pupo getting a quick start as well. Nice roof line. Look at the acceleration. He gets out of the lip and tagging it on the end. That is spicy. I like it a lot.
Really good start here for Sammy Pupo. Applying pressure to Kelly Slater. Kelly's going to most likely play the patient game and find himself some high quality waves, but look at the acceleration out of the lip from Sammy Pupo. Carries all that speed into this final move, and again attacks it, gets some release out of the tail. That's that youthful exuberance that we've seen from Sammy this season, starting off with some great results, some great heat wins. Sammy
Pupo lip glide a la Felipe Toledo, and he got a 6.5 from putting together that wave. Big man coming out of the water, Jordy Smith. He avoided that elimination round along with Jackson Baker. Jordy just giving the fans some time. So interesting as we look at Kelly Slater, just turned 50 in February. Sammy Pupo, 21 years old, rookie on tour. Imaikalani deVault, 24 years old, rookie on tour. Kelly Slater mathematically could be either of those rookies' dad.
Yes, Skypo, that is true. Good math.
All right, well, hey, look at, also into play, we're celebrating International Women's Day, and Kelly Slater, on the back of his jersey, has Anderson. He's inspired by the 4-time world champ and also fellow Florida surfer, Lisa Anderson. Oh, and Imai tagging the lip there, Paul.
Yeah, really nicely done from him, putting some turns together. Want to get off to a strong start here. Obviously, he's in a tough heat, but also not quite have the Hawaiian campaign that he would have hoped for in his neighboring isle. Meanwhile, Pupo back at it.
And a little bit on his toes there, Peter, but finds the finish, Sammy Pupo.
Well, he's going to add to that 6.5. He's going to make his way in and do the runaround. So this is where the youngsters are just putting it to Kelly very early in this heat. You know, that's something I think strategically would be very smart.
Yeah, no, you know, it's always interesting trying to get inside their heads a bit. Look at your heat choice here. You got Slater. You know, some surfers they might be thinking, oh, I think Sam Pupo will be bang up for this.
Oh, 100%. I mean, anytime you get an opportunity to surf against the best ever, and then be able to put that little notch in your belt when you say, hey, I beat Kelly Slater, you know. So these guys are inspired just as much as Kelly should be inspired by the youthful exuberance of these youngsters. Beautiful work there from Sammy again. I mean, that wave didn't look like it was high quality when he took off, and sure enough, just his acceleration down the line, his connection with that lip just looks so good. Same with Imai. I mean, this is kind of the surfing that we saw him do in Ericeira, Paul. It was just electrified in the lip, attacking it, drifting the fins.
He was untouchable for most of that event, right? Just posting high scores, individual scores, combined heat totals throughout the rounds. Just looked so good. Just a little sticky in terms of his waves so far in this. The ones we've seen him have, he's had a little bit of bump on the face, slightly fatter waves. He's going to need to try and find some cleaner face.
Well, score is in for last of Imaikalani deVault, a 4.23 and a 3.83 is in his scoreline. Sammy Pupo running the beach and getting the news right now that he scored a 5.33 on his last ride. Combine that with a 6.5. Sammy Pupo in the lead. Imaikalani deVault in second. Kelly Slater yet to ride a wave. Slater holding priority, Peter, and playing the patient game.
Yeah, and just trying to scan the screen here to see where Kelly is lined up. I mean, he would have been scanning the lineup and seeing exactly where he wanted to be, and he would have seen, okay, this is where the waves I want to catch are. You know, that's that experience. You know, you go out there and you're like, okay, I've found the spot. He's been able to surf last night. He was out here getting a few waves, testing boards, doing all the right things. So let's hope it pays off for him. But right now, nothing on the board yet.
You see Slater on the paddle here. hunting for a peak, and that wind that has come up. Slater, you know, he wasn't, when he came to the beach, word is that he wasn't he wasn't super excited, Pete, about the conditions right now.
He's not a fan of cold. Let's put it straight here. I mean, he loves the tropics. He loves board shorts. Grew up in Florida in board shorts. You know, like occasionally they throw a wetsuit on here in Florida, but overall, you know, the cold is something that some people are fond of and don't, you know, it doesn't affect him as much. I think Kelly, you know, has to deal with it. He's always trying to find ways to stay warm and stay inspired in cold weather.
It's probably also fair to say he would prefer to see Super Tuesday as sort of more traditional kind of barreling guys. He doesn't really want to get locked into any sort of potential air show with some of the youngsters. Not that he doesn't still have that in his game, but, you know, he's up against two of the best on the young generation. Haven't really seen anyone take to the air in this one yet, though.
All right, well, 22 minutes and 40 seconds, and that's going to give us some time right now to catch up with the last heat winner. Jackson Baker's up against the glass with Strider Wazalewski.
Thank you, Kaipo. Yeah, down here with Jackson Baker, running up, you know, through the entrance here. You're signing autographs. You're feeling good. You're on the glass. Tell me about that heat.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I mean, yeah, another heat win's nice. Yeah, good start. I mean, it's been a long day. Coming down here, potentially being first heat of the day, early morning, freezing cold, to surfing a heat at like 4:30 in the Arvo. It's hard to conserve your energy, but I went home, had a little power nap and a coffee after, and yeah, it seemed like it worked, and the plan that I had out there worked, and got some fun scores, and yeah, it's good to get underway.
A win over the big fella, Jordy Smith. You know, that's a bit of a confidence builder, as he's done really well out here, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had a good heat with him at Sunset, so it's nice to get one back on him. But I mean, any time I'm surfing against these guys, the world's best, and being able to call myself one of those guys in the top 32, it's a special feeling. Like, I mean, every heat I get to surf is amazing, and to be able to do it with my mum's number on the back and stuff like that, it's just such a good feeling.
That's a great one. And on the back of the jersey there, what are you repping?
I got Tyler Wright. I'll turn around. I learned a lot off Tyler in the last month or so over in Hawaii, just what she's had to overcome, and just the way she voices her opinion. It's just so inspiring, and the stuff that she's been through, I've been through other trauma, so I mean, I can relate to that, and just the way that she's come out on the other end of that, I mean, it's really easy for me to relate to.
Well, right on, Jackson. Thanks for the true colors. We'll see you on the next round.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
All right, great interview, and another look at the inspiration that we're taking. We're celebrating International Women's Day, and by that, all of our surfers are putting a name on their jersey of a female, of a woman that inspired them somehow in their life, in their sport, and I just think it is a great celebration that we're bringing here, Pete.
It's so true, you know, and I think that, you know, the WSL has always been at the forefront of recognizing those special days. As we watch the replay here of Kelly Slater, which earned a 4.67. And when I heard that score getting ridden out over the loudspeaker, you can see Kelly did a little spicy kick to the water. It felt like maybe that was probably something where maybe it could have been a little better than that, because he surfed this wave well. I mean, a little drift of the fins. You see that, you know, tail out the back. Unique carve too, variety, and then a good finish, 3 turns. You know, it felt like it was pretty good.
Well, just on that point, Pete, overall, score-wise, how do you feel that his scores have been, like, you know, recently? Maybe not, obviously in Hawaii did real well, but how do you like his numbers?
I feel like he's struggling to get numbers, to be honest. And you know, sometimes I look at a wave he's ridden, and I feel like, hey, I throw a number in my head, and then all of a sudden I see the score come out, and it comes out a little bit lower. So I feel like he works for his scores. I truly do.
Yeah, we just saw...
Some people may not agree.
No, we just saw a ride by Imaikalani deVault, so we're going to wait for that score in comparison to Kelly Slater's 4.67.
Kind of similar waves.
But back to your point, when you've been in the game for so long, like Kelly Slater, sometimes I feel Kelly gets judged against the bar that he has set for himself.
That's tough to do as a judge.
That's tough to do as a judge. And so sometimes the numbers, to your point, Pete, seem a little bit suppressed in the context of his actual performance. And that's just me being an analysis and a fan of the sport.
Hashtag justice for Kelly.
But just check this out, though.
All right. So there was the hook and a snap, 2 turns, you know, and a third. So, I mean, again, quality and quantity of moves. You know, I would say that stronger finish move for Imai. You know, the quickness that he did in the turns, right? A little spiciness. And I mean, how much of a difference is it? I mean, same amount of turns.
The speed was turned up a bit with Imai, but
I like the variety of Kelly.
I'm going to say still it's 3 backhand turns versus 3 backhand turns at the end of the day, Paul.
I thought Imai's was more aggressive and more vertical for sure. Kelly, you know, a little bit kind of like for him, of course, you know, there's that expression, going through the motions a little bit for those turns, and I think, yeah, it's going to be a decent number for Imai.
So we'll be waiting upon that number. We're at 18 minutes on the countdown here. Imaikalani deVault currently in second place. 7.6 would take him to first place because Sammy Pupo has already dropped some big numbers, and the score populates for Imai a 6.4.
2 points difference. It's a big difference in this context of a heat. Size of the wave pretty similar. There was just a quickness. And I think that the significant difference for me is the speed.
Speed and
more,
more,
the vertical.
More in the pocket, right? Kelly's maybe just a little bit next to the section. But that's a good number for Imai deVault, and that'll fire him up a little bit.
Part of the criteria, I felt like there was some better speed, power, and flow in the Kelly's approach.
Yeah, I mean,
there was some variety in that approach.
I'm not going to argue with this. Yeah, I mean, that's a big spread between the 4.67 for Kelly Slater and a 6.4.
I mean, if you're going to play 2 waves back to back on
deVault.
that thing, and they had similar angles, they were pretty similar in the scoreline, in my opinion. I didn't feel like it was a 2-point spread.
There you go. Well, we're going to leave it at that at 17 minutes. We get Kelly Slater looking for his second wave score. He needs a 5.97. 5.97 for Slater, and he will regain that second place and advancing position off of Imaikalani deVault. And here comes Slater. Nice looking wave. Comes around the corner here. Hooks it through the lip. Patient off the bottom again. Carves back into the whitewater and has to readjust himself a bit. Shows us that he's still got that flexibility at 50. Kelly Slater.
That was amazing. I don't even know what you call that.
Yeah, what a recovery from him on the inside in there. Big wave as well, that one, wasn't it? So on the takeoff, there was some meat on the bones there.
5.97, Paul. I want your initial gut reaction to that. Take a look at it again. Talk us through this.
So he seems kind of fall out there, gathers off the bottom, he stings it, and then at this point here, the wave does go pretty soft, so we're really, you know, this not really points on offer for these recoveries at the end. So just really thinking about that first turn. Is it better than the 6.4 for Imai just for one turn? I'm not sure it is.
What do you think, Pete? Here you go.
At this point, I don't know. I mean, it's good surfing. Again, it's this turn is out in the face. It wasn't more vertical as he would have liked on that first maneuver he had there. And then this is this mistake. It seemed like he was a bit off balance, but amazing recovery. But so that shows a little bit off balanceness, so a little lack of control.
Hey, that flexibility, knees and ankles and back right there by Slater, that was impressive, regardless of it being a non-maneuver, just to hang on. 5.23 checks in for Slater, not enough. He still needs a 5.41.
Anybody's game at this stage, right? This is a close heat so far, pretty similar to the last in the way the scores. It wasn't a massive spread between everyone at halfway point. This could be anyone's. Hopefully, we've got a lot of stuff
fun to nitpick, right? I mean, this is kind of cool because there's a stark contrast. You know, there's 5 judges on the panel and one opinion, 3 opinions in here.
Well, there you go. Imaikalani deVault floated through that first section and lost grip on turn number 2. So that is going to be a little bit of a miscalculation for the surfer from Maui. He's not going to gain on his 2-wave total. As we wait for the next exchange out here, we'll take a quick break. We got more coming your way. The conclusion of opening round heat number 2 right after this.
International Women's Day falls in our MEO Pro waiting period here in Portugal. This year we got to pick the last name of someone who's inspired us in sport history.
I choose Florence Artaud. She's a French sailor, and I'm fascinated how brave she was to sail across like the Atlantic Ocean by herself.
The person I picked for International Women's Day is Andrea Vargas. I think she just represents women in Costa Rica so well.
I picked Lisa Anderson. I wanted to surprise her and honor the work that she's done in surfing, all the world titles she's won.
I decided to represent Naomi Osaka, and I really respect the way she's a really honest athlete.
I chose Jessica Silva. She's a soccer player here in Lisbon. She's someone who I look up to. She works really hard to achieve her dreams.
It's an incredible message that WSL is doing to highlight women. It's all about lifting each other up.
It's the MEO Pro Portugal presented by Rip Curl opening round. Kelly Slater's out in the water and trailing the two rookies in this heat. Sammy Pupo and Imaikalani deVault Kaipaguro and Paul Evans, as well as Pupo MEO, talking you through the action. And let's see what happened while we were gone. We're waiting for scores right now for last of Sammy Pupo. Let's take a look at it, Pete.
And this score, and there's a score for Imai, but look at this. As you can hear, the crowd goes nuts because he is lifting off and landing perfectly with a big air 3 on the backhand. That was using the wind to his advantage, and of course all of this speed and the platform is which he's at right now. He's got an opportunity to put Kelly Slater into the elimination round, and he's doing everything he can to do it. Oh, he's counting the points. 10?
I love it. And this is a 7-3-3, Paul, for Imaikalani deVault.
Wow, just flaring straight off the takeoff fist. A little softer wave, so let's see what happens on the inside. He takes on the section.
Wow.
And finishes off and gets it done really smoothly.
Kelly got a wave here, but I think this one went incomplete.
Oh, ouch. That was an awkward landing. Hope he's good. Yeah, that was a bit awkward. Again, using the wind to his advantage to try and plant that board to his feet. Didn't get quite the projection off of that lip, but wow, that looked
like the
gnarly.
Back foot just coming off a little as well, and those are awkward, aren't they?
When you land with half your foot on the board, but seems all right.
All right, well, the number's in for last of Sammy Pupo, an 8.1. Pupo in the lead with a two-wave total of 14.6, 13.73 for Imaikalani deVault. Here we go, Sammy Pupo again. Let's see what he's got for us. Why not? Why not?
Oh, didn't pull it.
I mean, say something, Pete.
I was just going to say it's a moot point now. All of my deliberation over a 4.67 and a 6.4.
Yeah.
All of a sudden things have changed, right? So
we were wondering if this was going to ramp up score-wise. That's exactly what's happened. You know, this level, these guys, you give them enough opportunities, they will find a ramp. That's what Samuel does here. Doesn't get the completion on this. Gets a little higher with the amplitude. It's tail higher. The last one was flatter, but the last one he got so much rotation done before the landing. That one just coming a cropper.
One of the things about Imai and Sammy will bring to the party is that it doesn't take a quality wave to put 8-point rides up. You know, I think Kelly, on the other hand, he's going to need some quality waves and pick the right ones in order to get bigger numbers. Whereas, you know, just to close out little, you know, tail whip reverse. Not that Kelly can't do that, but the consistency of the kids these days is just so high.
Here we go. Imai goes for the full row, no problem. Stomps the landing.
It's an air show now.
And now, it has turned into an air show, Pupo MEO.
Yeah, and you know, and the scores are going to come from it because we saw that very early today. The judging criteria put some emphasis on, you know, progressive single maneuvers could get highly rewarded, and we're seeing that right now and play out in real time.
Tons of speed down the line and just so whippy with that rotation. A little slightly awkward section to land on as well. Got it done.
No worries. I mean, it looked just like butter, as you see again. This is how quick that rotation is. I mean, even in slow-mo, he had full rotation all the way around the landing. Just easy as can be for Imai, and another big number.
So we'll be waiting on that number, and we're going to probably see, let's see, Imai's probably going to look to put Slater near in a combo. More live action. Another ramp, another air, another landing. This time a little sloppier for Imaikalani deVault, but we're still waiting for that previous score, and we're expecting something north of the 6.4 that he has in his score line to increase his distance from Kelly Slater.
But the other danger, of course, as well, is once you've already got big numbers, well, let's watch live here, Kelly.
Slater calculating his approach, looking down the line, and does not look enthused at the end of this ride.
Yeah, not a lot of on offer there, but the number came in a little surprising to me from Imai, only a 6.23.
Hey, I'm surprised. That full rotation backside air, 6.23. So the situation remains the same for Kelly Slater. Slater looking for an 8.5 to get into second and advancing position, Paul.
I'm just thinking, you know, when you have already got those numbers on the board, they can afford to do that as well. These young guys, they will just keep looking for these runs. If they throw a couple away, it's not going to bother them particularly. They've already got some good numbers on the board, so it could be dangerous. There's still plenty of time left to go. Kelly up against it a little bit here. It's a pretty big number he's up against.
And this is the point where, for a Slater, Peter, that he'd want a big dredging double up barrel.
And it wouldn't surprise me if the thing showed up out of nowhere, right? That's what Kelly's done his entire career. We saw it happen against, who was it against when he came back in the 9-point ride at Pipe? I mean, at the very end of it with literally 5 seconds to go.
Yeah, Timmy.
So it can be done, right? And Kelly likes to do it that way in exuberant fashion. So he always stayed glued to his heats just because of that reason.
Well, 6 minutes, 25 seconds. The sun is getting low on the horizon, but we still got 2 more heats for you, so stick around because we're going to run through heat number 4 of this opening round and really set things up just for first day of the waiting period. So we're kicking it off with a bang at this year's Male Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl. Imaikalani deVault with a quick kick out there. And Slater, who has had some good success here. We look back some of his history. We got Owen Wright coming up with Luca Macinas and Seth Moniz. That's going to be the heat number 3, and that's going to kick off in just under 6 minutes for the conclusion of this heat.
Slater's early successes a long way back now. He made a couple of finals, didn't he? 2010 and 2011.
Yeah.
Did get the win in 2010. Runner-up in 2011 against D'Souza in that final. Yeah, a bit of time has passed between now and then. Absolutely just lighting up this tour with that winner pipeline. Start off the season, and you know, we're all just waiting, kind of hoping that we just get real quality waves and we see the best of it.
Well, the good news is we're not going to lose anyone in this round. So what happens here is third place goes to the elimination round. So if the situation does not change in the final 5 minutes of this heat, Pete, we're still going to see Slater surf again.
This is true. And I would think that he would hope that it's in, you know, probably most likely tomorrow in some sizable surf.
Boy, look at Pete. Let's just talk about that because we don't have any waves getting written right now. Your assessment of the forecast.
I did just have a look at it. It's still pretty breezy. The angle of the wind is in that kind of northeast direction as we watch this recap here. Great acceleration from Sammy Pupo, and what a way to start a heat against Kelly Slater and Imai. And he just solid approach, didn't have to go above the lip, but just built that foundation. Imai, so quick in transition. That's one of his strengths, has to be how quickly he is. It's his equipment. The KT epoxies just whip in and out of every maneuver. Here's Kelly Slater's best wave that came in at a 5.23. Beautiful first hook there. Little bobble and save for some dramatics from Kelly. But it's been, at this point, all of a sudden the air show started, Paul.
Absolutely. And only one thing really going to happen here. We're looking at a massive punt coming up from Pupo. Beautifully done. Just absolutely stomping that full rotation. And it is crisp as you like. I don't know what this means, but I like it.
Yeah.
More of it, please.
8.1 for that full row for Sammy Pupo. Pupo on the lead. Imaikalani deVault in a comfortable second place right now as we're down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Kelly Slater needing an 8.5, and the hunt is going to start for Imai because he has first priority over Slater's second priority, so he can play a little bit of defense in these final 3 minutes, and you can see the hunt.
And interesting to see the kind of range as well, and sort of the size of the waves that are scored in this. We've seen a couple of like kind of 3-footers get good numbers, and then, you know, thinking of Kelly's high score, that 5.23, almost kind of twice that size, which is, I guess, sort of relatively unusual to see that range, and that's just a factor that we've got this build-in swell coming in.
It's so true, you know, and I guess the quality of the wave too, right? You think about it, it's not always the size of the wave that goes into the score. It's about the shape of the wave as well, and then the surfing being done on it.
Well, this guy's been doing some exciting surfing, and he's just going to keep on taking advantage of that air wind on the lefts. Just another spinner for Sammy Pupo, looking really comfortable in these conditions.
Well, that one there, not the full rotation. You know, you saw that he landed backwards and then spun around, so the judges will take a note of that. It was complete this time, so, you know, the other score there that he had the full rotation and landed but didn't quite ride out of it came in as basically a throwaway score. And then here, a bit forced, you know, not the easiest of all sections, but even a forced air reverse is pretty nice from Sammy Pupo, and just pulled it off so clean. You know, holding on to a 6.5 already in his score line, I don't see that going quite that high.
Slater looking for an 8.5. Little snap to begin, jumbled wave here, and hits the oncoming section with a lot of force, but the convergence of water just eats him up. Down to 1 minute and 35 seconds, and that is going to look like it's going to be Kelly Slater into the elimination round.
And with all that conversation on dissecting scores, the reality of it really to us is that heat was won by Sammy Pupo and Imaikalani deVault. Kelly definitely was in third place, so it didn't even matter all the debate about his 4.67.
It was fun though,
right? It was good at the beginning, and then what won that heat was basically aerials.
Yeah, progression.
And it was the aerials from the two rookies that were able to amass the points out of waves, you know, that they just maximize the scoring potential in it with progression. Here we go. Imai again. Another example. Bang. Just like that.
Oh, man. And that was the fact that these kids were coming up against Kelly Slater. They said, oh, I know how I'm going to beat him. I'm just going to go punt into the wind. And sure enough, they did. And what an exciting heat.
So we're down to 35 seconds. Let's take another look at Imai with this quick rotation, Paul.
Yeah, look at that ramp that just offers him up. A beautiful sort of soft exit and a pretty soft landing too. The rotation is nice and crisp. And he manages to get a little bonus off the suit to kick out with as well. Let's see where that goes score-wise. 6.4 is his low number, but very much taken all of this in his stride.
So Slater on the beach already. He is already acknowledging that he is going to go to the elimination round. He'll prepare himself for that as the countdown happens here. And the story in this heat number 2 of the opening round really was the story of the rookies. Sammy Pupo, Imaikalani deVault coming through with some brilliant progressive surfing. And there's the numbers: 14.6 for Pupo, 13.73 for Imaikalani deVault. Taking a quick break. When we come back, we got more action happening. Seth Moniz, Luca Macinas, and Owen Wright will all be in the water. Stick around.